when we think about debates, we think about them as like, I don't know, these earth shattering things that like truly matter in the world when they don't. They fucking don't. But we do them anyway because it's nice to see in the real world how our ideas apply and how from there we move to make forward with like, or we move to go forward with, you know, the message that we're sending. I'm trying to figure out a nice way to put that. So, I want to show you why conservatives be ducking me because they sound like this.
From Southern California to the Bay Area, you're watching The Issue Is.
Both of our panelists, returning champs on our show. Hasan Piker is the youngest Turk on the Young Turk Network. His online commentaries called The Breakdown have been seen by tens of millions of people. They've made him one of the most influential millennial progressives in the entire country. He's got his own new show called Agitprop with Hasan Piker. You can watch at tyt.com. He also has his own channel on Twitch. Gianno Caldwell.
He only has Twitch now. He only has Twitch now. Let's go.
A longtime conservative strategist as well. He's got a new book available for pre-order now called Taken for Granted, How Conservatism Can Win Back the Americans That Liberalism Failed.
Now, I've talked to you about that before. I don't want to come in here hating the first guy because, you know, I haven't watched the entire thing, so I don't want to come in there and be like, oh, he's actually making great points. Look, I was stupid for dunking on him. But like I've had multiple pieces on why conservatism fails black Americans at a way higher rate than liberalism. Liberalism is a strange problem, and I'm not even saying that black people should even be involved with that. But like, we're the Democratic Nazis, my guys. Come on.
It's already been endorsed by Ann Coulter, Ben Shapiro, Newt Gingrich, and the president himself. Here's what the president wrote, quote, Taken for Granted, a wonderful new book by Gianno Caldwell on how conservatives can win back the Americans that liberalism failed, has my full endorsement. Gianno,
didn't capitalize on that. I miss his tweets.
Yes, I was very excited.
That's mad. That's mad creepy. Yes, I was very excited.
No, seriously, it is an honor to be endorsed by a sitting president. Even if I don't agree with everything that he says, I really appreciate the president and many other major conservative support on my book. Please pre-order.
Yeah, and Hasan, I know you've been a bit in the news recently as well. I want to address real quickly. You made some comments that got a lot of pickup talking about...
Wow, what a sling. He went from great book there, bro, to, hey, you've been in the news too for like bad shit. Like, what a swing.
9/11, saying that Americans deserved 9/11. This was something you said on a Twitch stream that was very long, had a lot of other stuff in it. You deleted it and said that that was probably not the best way of saying that. You also made a comment about Dan Crenshaw, the Republican congressman who had an eye injury in war, and said that that was not well delivered, sort of a poor attempt at humor. Anything else you want to add on that?
Amazing. Anything else you want to add to all those bad things? List one good thing about him.
Yeah, certainly. Well, first of all, I said America, not Americans, and I still stand, like, I don't believe that any civilian deserves to die. Obviously, I'm anti-war. That was precisely what we were talking about on my Twitch stream at the time. It was a 6-hour broadcast, and that was a 10-second clip, and unfortunately, if they had shown the preceding 10 seconds right after that, the context would be rather clear. It was that I was criticizing American foreign policy and the kind of jingoistic attitude that Dan Crenshaw was repeating that justifies endless war, that has led to nearly 7,000 brave young men and women to be sent overseas and only return in caskets. I think that's abhorrent. I think that's disgusting. I don't think that I mean, my style is not very civil. I think civility is unimportant, and I think doing what's morally right is what's important, and speaking truth to power is what's important.
So truth to power is saying that America deserved 9/11.
He just explained that. Do you see why when I get into debates with people, it's extremely hard for me to like comprehend what the fuck you're talking about? I just explained that. I will also carry that same sentiment. I'm sorry that it has to come from him. I know it seems like I'm hopping on the trend of, oh, the big streamer said it, so I'm going to say it. But I've always thought about that. I thought about the radicalization in the U.S. right now. Armed militia groups defending the Second Amendment. We're not creating our own Al-Qaeda. That don't feel weird to you? To see the same ravishing support for a person that you see in other countries and you immediately label that's fascism. That's bad. That's a dictator. You don't see nothing wrong with that at all. You don't feel no type of way about it. It don't make you say something. It don't make you sit there and be like, I wonder, maybe, just maybe, that we're following this guy around preaching all of his epitaphs without actually applying them to the real world and seeing if the things that he's saying are actually even physically true. You talk about the MSM and how you follow them blindly and blah, 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 this and that. What, is it wrong to ask questions now? You don't see that being skeptical of everything with only one person telling you the truth is a problem? You really think us leftists like Biden? Like, what is the antithesis for your statements and how you feel? Because it's not making sense to me right now. It really isn't. How? How are you getting there? How are you reaching these conclusions? Why are you reaching these conclusions? No one knows. No one knows. No one knows.
Americans. We live in America. This impacted many families and people that I know personally. And for you to say something like that, and I recognize the fact that your uncle gave you an opportunity. You didn't have a lot of life experience or policy experience. So you came on as a junior analyst and you began to pontificate on things that you may not know much about. But it was so disheartening to see that. And your follow-up per the next day was just really ridiculous. You should just say, I apologize for it and leave it there. There's a lot of people hurting from that.
What do you think is worse? The actual substance of what I was trying to say, which is that America's foreign policy is it led to awful consequences, 9/11 being one of them, and this isn't like a matter up for debate or discussion.
You can say that, and that's fine.
Hold on.
You can say
but
that,
what's
that's
worse?
fine.
Is that worse, or continuously arming Saudi Arabia and voting to continuously arm and fund Saudi Arabia, and some of those weapons do end up in the hands of Al-Qaeda. Which one's worse, you think? My statement that got taken out of context is, and it's obvious that I don't mean that. Obviously, 9/11 is devastating. If I am criticizing Al-Qaeda
he does the thing I do. Like, I can't believe I have to sit here and explain this. I can't believe. So he tries to. I like this style. I think I've done that before. If you want a clarification on a statement I've made, or you want to like weigh the options here, do you think I'm a bad person for being able to say that caused something directly, and that's like our just desserts for what we did, versus like I said it in a way you don't like?
Senseless terror that they've caused, which was the immediate follow-up to that.
Your statement is equivalent to that of someone
Equivalent, my brother.
and ISIS would say.
What a reach! What a fucking reach! What a reach!
A terrorist sympathizer. No BS. Legitimately speaking,
Okay.
like when we have these discussions. No, I'm so serious. I'm having a real conversation.
Okay, do you think a terrorist
This is
sympathizer would be
beyond
upset?
politics.
This is beyond politics. You really think, ISIS says Americans deserve 9/11. America, the government deserves 9/11. America ourselves, I hate this term, but like, we did the thing and funded the people with weapons that took control, then said, excuse me, you destabilized everything. Where's our help? We didn't give it to them. So they were like, bet.
This is beyond
You think a terrorist
politics.
sympathizer would
Your
be
words
upset that we're
matter.
funding
Your
the terrorists?
words matter, and
Okay.
you hurt a lot of people with those statements. And now you're trying to explain it away and say, "Well, the substance of what I said." No, apologize for it. Full stop. I apologize. What I said.
All right, you you can't have this much aggression on saying I should just apologize for it. Saying sorry is admitting that the substance of what you're saying wasn't worth paying attention to, because the entire thought process around it, the core essence of it, is something that no one would agree with. Apologizing is like when it works when like I'm in the middle of a foreign policy discussion and I mention how I slept with your mother. That I could apologize for, because the core substance of that statement is something nobody would agree with. Nobody would have a rational, good faith response to that. Here, the summation, the point, is surrounded by, yes, the core substance of which I will not admit is wrong, because everyone would agree with that. You fucking...
It was wrong and leave it there. Why would you ever? Why would you ever? We're Americans.
Because
We're Americans. That statement does not live up to today's standard.
I'm not going to back down from the manipulated, calculated moral outrage cycle that was created exclusively by the right wing, and I'm not going to back down from.
Right.
Your uncle himself said that he found your comments deplorable.
I don't care.
Your uncle said, I hate that. Don't stretch out your... If you want to learn a debate trick here, don't stretch out your sentences to match over the tone of what somebody else is saying. Your uncle said all of your comments were deplorable. Yes, because he has to, because he owns a business to which he represents. That he, like, you're really missing the forest for the trees.
We have differences in opinion.
That's just like saying, like, oh, people say they have illegal guns in Chicago, and the folks in Chicago, the black people, deserve to die. Like, what are you talking about?
No, that's a false equivalency. That's a false equivalency. That false equivalency exists on this I'm sorry, I have to do this step by step. I apologize to people who just like make the point and move forward. I have to do it step by step because I need to establish myself as not a bumbling idiot. America's foreign policy lined up with what occurred to the destabilization of Saudi Arabia and many areas in the Middle East, and as a response to the damning conditions that they were forced to live in due to America's interference, they struck back against the people who did it to them. America, as a whole, in general, deserved 9/11. It is the just desserts for thinking that we had the right to go into another country, break it apart all the way down, and then just dip. This is something that nobody ever, because if you did, then the right and the left would both be hypocrites, because we both condemn, like, they're trying to rehabilitate his image, but we all hate George Bush. You can't say war crime this, war crime that, and not go on that point. The false equivalency now gets put, so let's put that together, and now put the other statement. Because there are a lot of illegal guns in Chicago, the black people who die deserve to die because of the illegal guns that people bring into Chicago. Solve the root issues. Let's look at the two root issues. America's foreign policy, that's tangible. Gun rights. The government doesn't pass stricter gun laws. Therefore, I could say America deserves its gun violence because it refuses to do anything about it. His statement don't fit in if I make it equal. I make it an equalizer. Because of the destabilization of poor neighborhoods due to redlining and generational wealth gaps in both people, the people that suffer the most from illegal gun violence are the people who feel like they need it the most in order to survive in their area. The increased fear creates impounded violence. Since everyone's so tight-knitly together, it's hard to have beef. It's super hard to have beef with somebody who lives 25 miles away from you. You're not driving all the way down there to then pull up. Like, by the time you get 15 minutes in, you're like, this is stupid. I could be at home. If you all live in tight little knit buildings and there's 84,000 of you on one block, the 1-to-1 ratio of how many people are going to try to snuff you just grow, the odds grow higher. This is something not hard to figure out. Sorry, I had to go all the way through with that. I'm a little exhausted. But yeah, that's bullshit. That's straight bullshit. You went on television and said that shit.
Okay, all right.
We're Americans. We should never be in this type of position. This is a serious statement. This is beyond politics. I don't care about your politics or mine. We're Americans. People came together during 9/11.
To do what though? Because the mosque burning that came up was in 2011. So to do what though?
A lot of people.
Yeah, you know
we
what
were one.
You know what
it didn't matter about color.
You know
we
what
were
we
one.
did? I know. You know what we did in the aftermath of that? You know what we did? We justified endless war by using and politicizing 9/11 as a tragedy. That is
the same way we politicized COVID-19 because we don't know how to do anything else. A public health issue is not up for debate on how the left and the right respond. It's quite literally, we all do the same thing, we all shut the fuck up.
Something that I've written about extensively. It's absolutely
Where was the
disgusting, and it's not going
Okay,
to.
guys.
What did
I'm
we
not
do?
going to
What
back
did,
down
no, this is a
from
very
my
serious
statement.
comment.
All right, Gianno.
What did we do to deserve 2 planes going into the Twin Towers? What did
He explained that already.
we do?
I explained it. I explained it for you.
Be trampled over. What did we do?
Great
What did we
question.
do?
Great question. We armed and offered structural and material support to the same fighters
We
that ended
have
up
done
branching
that
off. That ended.
across this
Are
world
you going to
in
let me?
numerous places.
You see the snap. Like, are you serious? You wanted an answer to this question. I have a very once you notice that the person is actually starting to flow, I'm gonna cut you off right there, bro. How dare you try to justify this? Then stop asking me questions about it. Why did you bring it up? Why is the first debate topic on my horrendous comments and not just something else that could lead us to this conversation? Setups. I don't play that shit. Hey, you can see it in Silent's face. I don't play that shit. Don't do that.
Material support to the same fighters
We
that ended
have
up
done
branching
that
off. That
across
ended.
this world
Are you
in
going to let me?
numerous places.
Oh,
We've
so
done
then
that.
it's okay.
We've done that.
Oh, so then it's okay.
We've done that.
Oh, it's fine when we arm
We've
the
done that.
Contras.
We've
It's fine when the Mazote
America
massacre
never
happens in Latin
deserved
America.
it. America never deserved it, and you should apologize.
Do you
All right,
think?
all right, guys,
You should
Do you think
apologize.
500,000
You
Iraqi
should
civilians deserve to
apologize.
die?
Full
No, it's
stop.
the same concept. It
I'm
is
an American and I'm proud of it.
preposterous.
Okay, guys, let's stop. All right.
All right, cool,
Everybody,
man.
everybody made their point. Okay, we're gonna move on to something else, which I'm sure you guys will agree with as well. Mayor Pete, who we talked to in the last segment, talked about where he fits in the Democratic field. Let's hear from him.
I do have a different approach.
Okay, this is
Those
ironic.
to my left, who I think run the risk of further polarizing this country, and those who seem to believe that we can win over Republicans by sounding like Republicans.
So that was Mayor Pete essentially saying that going too far to the left might polarize, alienate the country. Hassan,
That didn't work. That idea didn't pan out as well. We hired a centrist Republican running on the Democratic ticket, and he's doing Republican things, and it's still polarizing.
the party should go in terms of actually of winning, and where do you think is the right way to go?
I think that there is no such thing, especially at this current Overton window that we're experiencing. American politics has gone far to the right, not in social issues, but definitely on economic issues. And these ideas are not deregulating entire industries.
Oh, but what about the 5-6 million jobs that have been created due to this deregulation? What about the 7 million
know.
job openings are now available due
Now in this year, you can see why that was bullshit. Because it was about living wage. People who create jobs, awesome. But if you can't afford to live off the job that's created, you have to starve to find another job. You have to work longer shifts, which gives you less time to enjoy your money. What are you affording? What are you doing? So you talk about fathers that don't be in the home, right? Or mothers that be out, or they're both working 16-hour shifts. Who's watching the children? Somebody got to stay home, right? Forcing them to stay home due to childcare issues because we don't have universal childcare, so they can't be a productive member of society. Then you demonize motherhood or single parenthood. Like, you see how easy it is to like really get into the nuance of how dumb that shit sounds?
to this deregulation. How's that a bad thing?
Obviously, if the labor market being as tight as it is currently, if that was a good
What do
thing.
you mean tight? What do you mean?
The fact that we are nearing full employment should imply that wages are supposed to go up, but wages have gone up very, very slowly,
Actually,
and wages have remained stagnant for the past 40 years, and that is a direct consequence of us failing, our government failing the American labor force.
So part of the question right now is, do we do socialism or do we do capitalism, which is being debated?
We're not gonna do socialism. I don't know what this idea is. Like, everyone keeps talking about this. Like, we're not creating like a vanguard party that is going to violently overthrow the American government and seize the means of production. That's it's not going to happen.
It literally
didn't.
didn't.
People in America that actually want to do that. The reality is, what we need to do in the short term are modest but immediate social democratic reforms that have absolutely worked all around the world. And that's precisely what Bernie Sanders is advocating for, and that's precisely what Elizabeth Warren is advocating for. And despite the numerous attempts to muddy that message and to fight back against that, even in some circumstances by the Democratic Party itself.
Wow,
These are
called that one.
very popular populist ideas, and they go across party lines as well. And the reason why they go across party lines is because it genuinely will help Americans. We deserve.
I hate that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't use the colloquialisms when a straight point is being made. After you just wanted to go and attack him for his non-educated view, if you want to call it that. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. You're not gonna go and slide into the ebonics. Conservatism. It is such a pain to physically have to say why everything this person said is wrong. You just shouldn't hold these things as positions. These are the oppositional people that the Democrats want to reach over the aisle for to help the and I hate it, but to help these people who literally don't understand that like capitalism is choking them by the neck, and just because they have an oil job that pays $35 an hour doesn't mean that they're at the cream of the crop. Like, we'll talk about how, big burly men need to work heavy jobs doing hard labor. That's a real day's work. And it's like people who sit in suits, who sit in air-conditioned offices, literally chewing on donuts and typing a couple letters in, make 40 times as much money as you in less time. They motherfuckers go work for 2 hours, be gone. I'm answering calls while I'm doing lunches. Hey, it's nice to meet you. I have a proposal for $150 million. Do you want to hear it? All right, let's do it. Like, I'm not kidding. The Big Short should just be required reading. Should just be required reading. Why are we even holding off on that? Should just be required reading. Required reading, watching. I'm an idiot. I'm such an asshole. But yeah, no, like, come on. Come on, what are you talking about?
We deserve.
You got an individual. Senator Bernie Sanders really enlightened the world in 2016 when it came to this socialistic idea. Young people specifically.
The world.
The United States of America especially. That's why we're having these conversations. That's why you got people like Elizabeth Warren in office. But when it comes to these progressive tax policies and what she's been
sticking to the tax policies,
pushing, when he became a part of the 1%, he wouldn't even give more of his money to the government, which you can do voluntarily. So, because
I hate that. Now we have billionaires giving away their money and they're not saying a damn thing about it. Because they look at, okay, boom, 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 boom. Look at that. We in there. We in there. Look at that. Right there. That's clever. Nice try. But 1, 2, 3, 4 people giving away their $2 million is not going to fix anything. We still pour more money into the defense budget. So take a guess as to where that $2 million is going. I hate that, Bernie Sanders used to say the millionaires and billionaires, but when he became a millionaire, he didn't talk about millionaires anymore. Okay, so $3 million is not something I'm going to be like, damn, you're exploiting your workers. 10 million. Fuck it. I'll even go so far against the left, they're going to hate me. $1 billion. Okay. At this point, here's your trophy. You get a nice Sukuna picture. You like anime. Here's your trophy. You won capitalism. Leave us alone for the rest of our lives. That's where you really got to attack it. In honest terms, I really feel like maybe like 100 million is about the limit. But like, I'm not going to play around with people's money. Like, come on, artists be getting millions. They gonna stack eventually. I can't hate Michael Jackson. Like, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. I just can't. Anyway, that's bullshit. That, and now more than ever, shows that his position, which conservatives still have as a position, is fucking horrible.
When you consider
is this really the best Fox News has to offer?
Yeah, there it is. This is the part I haven't watched before. There it is. Look at the face. Yo, we need to make an emo to that. Wait, hold on. I got you right now. I'm gonna screen snippet. That's an emote. That's an emote.
Really? Why isn't Bernie Sanders giving more of his money? Do you think individuals magnanimously giving some of their wealth back to the government is actually going to solve it?
Sure.
Or what do you think structural change means? What do you think systemic change means?
Be the example.
I hate that. Be the example. I guess I'm gonna unpause Champ Andy because I'm a fucking asshole. But hey, welcome back to the stream. I guess I'm pause Champ Andy, but it's just so fucking bad. Like that's such a moronic
commentary that works, unfortunately, because people are completely uneducated on this. Do you like the plastic straw ban?
No, I don't.
Why don't you like it?
Because the straws melt in your glass, so I don't like it.
No,
but
okay. Hold on. But there's also a real tangible effect on the environment. It's only 0.09% of the pollution, the plastic pollution in the ocean. So it's actually a silly policy. I agree. The reason why I think that that's a silly policy is because it helps us feel like we're actually doing something positive to save the environment when when the top 100 companies on this planet are responsible for 71% of the emissions, okay? Like, we need structural changes. You substituting your...
Good answer. Good answer. Structural change. Because making people do things is one thing. People voluntarily giving up their wealth is one thing. If it just ends up resetting back to the floor, then you've done nothing. And what did it do? It made those individuals feel greater about their thing. Be the example, but nobody's forcing you to do it anyway. This isn't some big kumbaya movement where one person will join in and then the next person and the next person. And 2 years later, we can see that that quite literally wasn't the case. Because now we have billionaires giving away their money as the example, and no one's following. No one's jumping on the trend.
Your plastic straw.
Instead, we got Elon Musk on SNL. Great job, guys. We're really fighting the fight.
For a paper straw is not going to mitigate the disasters, the ecological disasters that are coming. You have to have a serious structural change. So Bernie Sanders giving $1 million or however much money he has is not going to change anything. Bernie Sanders advocating for actual policies.
You can't advocate for a revolution and not be a part of it.
That's bullshit. I already explained why that's bullshit. I didn't even see that coming. Then he doubled down. You can't be a part of the revolution. You can't like start a revolution and not be part of it. Okay, but can we elect him to president? Then he could do it. The trade-off, right? The revolution, the socialist revolution. Do you think that if he raised taxes on his income, that he wouldn't be paying those income tax?
There's real people out here that are there's legitimate activists that are out there that are being a part of the change that they want to see in the world. So while we're over here debating about the topic,
so they're giving away. So they make $250 a week, and they're giving away $50 of it. They're part of the real change. Now they just missed their rent payment. Awesome, great example.
no, it's not. What you're saying is idiotic. What you're saying is idiotic.
You know why it's idiotic? It's literally like saying, "Oh well, I'm living in this serfdom right now, and I'm a feudal peasant, and I want to advocate to make society just a little bit better, just marginally better." And everyone's like, "Well, if you want to advocate for a better society, why do you still live inside of the serfdom?"
Oh, I can't believe he just doesn't say the meme. You hate society, yet you participate in it.
You go live in the mountainside.
Gianno, hasn't Bernie Sanders though been pushing for these policies for 40 years?
Right.
And
70s,
the only
60s.
way to do that is to do it through legislation on a whole scale thing.
Absolutely, there's legislation. When you talk about the Green New Deal, that was legislation in which he voted against, and so many other Democrats who said that they supported it. They only supported it in press conferences and before their constituency, which they believe supported, but they know that it wouldn't work.
Oh, he just missed the point. Just missed the point.
So it's at the end of the day, talking points and posturing. Democrats, that's what they do best. They posture. They talk.
Another piece of legislation that could potentially affect things in a big way in California is this concept of the gig economy. This is something Uber and Lyft drivers right now are considered gig workers. They don't get all the protections of being employed.
Okay, Prop 22 failed, and we're going to cover a video on that, so I don't want to watch that part.
know that they were taking advantage of the individuals that were there. So when you think about unions, feel free to join if you want to, but there should be the freedom to do so or not. I don't believe that unions are...
It's bullshit. At the end, you can either advocate for yourself and get nothing because you have no protection, or you can have a union backing you, and everybody can make that choice and say, "Oh, we'll pull out our support, we'll pull out our workers if you choose not to give this, and you'll get it, and you'll literally get it with more bargaining power." Why would you not take more bargaining power?
You understand what a free rider problem is, though, right? Like
Yeah, I understand. I understand the
so that's
concept of it.
I think that every single
But
person
if
needs to
people
be
want
part
to
of a
be,
union.
want to
Do
be
you
a
think
part of
unions
it,
have been
they can.
helpful when it comes to like getting the weekend? But comes things like worker protections, when it becomes things like raising wages over the years. Do you think that's been helpful?
Benefits.
Wages.
I think that the union plays a part, but I'm saying that at one time the union was an okay thing.
What do you think a union
Hold
is?
on, I'm still talking.
Yeah.
At one time,
Hold
it was
on,
an
I'm still
okay thing, but
talking.
They've allowed corruption.
Shake it. I do that too. Like, I
Take away
cannot
what unions really
believe.
meant, and then forcing people to stay in unions when they may not have wanted to is become very problematic. Therefore, when these new laws hit the books, right to work laws hit the books, people begin to leave them in droves.
Yeah, that's precisely why those laws went in the
Freedom.
books. The one thing I will say is this,
last
okay?
word on this.
The last word I'll make on this is this. As soon as Uber and Lyft realized that AB 5 was going to get passed and they couldn't carve out an exception for themselves, what did they do? They went back to the drivers and said, "We're going to give you guys more benefits. We promise. We're going to increase your wages. We promise." Do you know why? Even the threat of unionization alone was enough for a company to immediately sit into their.
With
Hold
no
on, let me finish.
skill set
Let me
outside
finish
of
the
a
point.
driver's
Let me
license,
finish my point.
They drive for Uber.
Why do you
it's
always
a good
do
thing.
this? Let me finish my point.
Let him
Okay?
finish.
Let me finish my point.
God, I don't notice it as much, but Hasan's head is really small. My ears are really small, okay? I'm sensitive about it too. I see why he's able to just brush that off, but like that body is so fucking big. He cool though. I got small ears. I'm ugly. I'm not even gonna start.
Threat of unionization alone was enough for corporations to cut into their profit margin and offer better benefits and better wages. Now imagine if there was a union on top of that advocated for your rights, because that's the only purpose of a union, is to get together and collectively
Uber
bargain,
and
which
Lyft
is a
are
fundamental
temporary
part.
jobs.
Which is a
Those are temporary jobs. There's over almost 60
Okay,
million
we're
freelancers
gonna
in
have
this
to
country.
we're gonna have to
There's
stop.
temporary
So maybe
jobs.
we should have a freelancers union. Oh wait.
Okay.
Just because it's
let's-
temporary doesn't mean that
Bruh,
we can mistreat these people.
Yeah, I don't know
All
what
right,
they're
guys.
talking about on the Young Turks, but that doesn't make as much sense. Like, you're not talking about something that's...
All right, guys.
Okay, let's stop.
People should have the ability
Yo.
to freelance without there having to join a union.
Okay.
Why should they have the ability?
Why he's trying to stop them so bad. This is me though. Maybe no. I think when I hear the host say, "All right," I think I know when to be quiet.
Finish
Outside
the
of a
point.
driver's
Let me
license,
finish my
They
point.
drive for Uber.
Why do you
it's
always
a good
do
thing.
this? Let me finish my point.
It's a good thing.
Let him
Okay?
finish.
Let me finish my point.
I'm about to
Threat
cook
of
you.
unionization
I'm about to cook.
was enough for corporations to cut into their profit margin and offer better benefits and better wages. Now imagine if there was a union on top of that advocated for your rights, because that's the only purpose of a union, is to get together and collectively
Uber
bargain,
and
which
Lyft
is a
are
fundamental
temporary
part.
jobs.
Which is a
Those are temporary jobs.
And he
There's
still
over
won't let him
almost 60
finish.
Okay.
Okay, we're
million
gonna
freelancers
have
in this
to
country.
we're gonna have to
That's
stop
temporary
somewhere.
gig.
Okay,
Just because it's
let's
temporary
Uber, you required a license.
They still going?
to freelance without their...
number playlist.
It's just so silly that
We can keep
you're
going
over here,
forever.
Like, talking.
Listen, I can tell you...
All right, guys, we're gonna stop there.
Okay.
All right. Okay. As we go to break, we got some music from President Obama's just posted. Then candidate Trump making his pitch to minority voters in 20
Okay, I'm skipping that because this doesn't matter.
with us. This week's podcast,
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I stand by.
spiciest debate we've ever had on this show. But you both have dealt with a lot of haters, and maybe we can find some common ground and maybe some advice to some of our viewers on how to deal with the haters. Gianno.
I think you got to just keep true to your beliefs. And honestly, I've received calls from the FBI. Remember the guy who wanted to send bombs, or rather tried to send bombs to Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden? He wanted to send me one because he disagreed with what I had to say. So in that case, at this point, it's almost like when we're in public spaces, you just got to stay true to yourself. And it doesn't matter what the haters think.
All right. Okay. So great response. That's actually true. I can't hate people for expressing themselves. It's just, you see where I'd have a problem with it? It's like the person who's saying that. The person who's saying that is like weird.
I know. I actually do agree with that, and yeah, that's what I stand by. Obviously, in the field that we're in, there are sometimes statements that get taken out of context that you don't necessarily mean, or sometimes statements that are taken in context that you do actually mean, and they still
Final
spark a lot
researcher.
of heated debates. But unfortunately,
You can't hear the YouTube vid? That's weird.
that sort of like civil discussion doesn't really happen in real life. I think that's more mythologized, I guess. And I think the past week is evidence of this. I mean, I've received numerous death threats. I've always dealt with this as a part of my job, but it's kind of shocking that we have essentially normalized it, where if someone doesn't agree with your opinion, or if someone is upset at you, or they see something that is taken out of context, and they're like, "Oh, this represents you," I'm not going to look for additional context. I'm not going to look for clarification, and I'm just going to try to find out the addresses of your family members and threaten to kill them, and publicly fantasize about murdering you and torturing you. And look, a lot of it is not real. I think these people are cowards, and that's precisely why they're just posturing on the internet. But it is shocking that America, which places a lot of emphasis on freedom of speech, could then turn around and have American citizens try to put a chilling effect on that by threatening to murder you.
Yeah, but you both stay true to who you are and keep talking anyways, right?
Yeah.
No choice.
All right, well, they said a lot more that we had to...
Dope. So, final takeaways. That's why I don't like debating or talking about debating conservatives. I'll do it because that's my test to know that I'm not an idiot. And that if I do want to be a leader, I need to be able to defend my ideas to make people vote for me. They need to know, oh, he's saying this. Why does he believe that? Because maybe if they hear it from the horse's mouth and they can't take it out of context because I'm constantly... I'm there. I'm in this generation. Maybe they'll be able to respect that a little bit more. That's the Hasan Piker versus Gianno Caldwell debate years later.